Welcome back to the channel, and carrying on from where we left off last week, we had a bit of a machine malfunction. The handle on the Morticer broke off. It was the slotted spring clip that had sheared off, so that stopped me getting the mortising finished. Well, I will be able to get that finished this afternoon, and then we can get on with the creating the tenons. But first things first, let's get this mortise machine fixed. So there's the hole that the spring clips need to go into. Now, what I did, I could have gone straight to Axminster, but chose not to, because I found a very good supplier of this sort of thing. I'll put a link in the description. The company is Aku, and they supply all this sort of thing. Very competitive rate, and if you only want one of an item, they will supply just one. But the quantity discounts are very, very good as well. So that's the thing that I'm replacing. It's a slotted spring pin, and it just holds everything together. So first things first, I've got to get the old one out, then I can pop that on there and hammer the new one into place. I might have to drill it out. That is not moving. Now, for those who were wondering, I do have a woodworking vise. It isn't attached obviously to the workbench, because with the way that I work, I don't tend to use a vise, but this is where it will be absolutely necessary. So let's see if I can drill this pin out. Well, it goes back in, but it's not coming out. So let's try turning it around the other way. And come at it from that direction. Yes, that is proving to be very, very stubborn. But the problem is I don't want to widen that hole. Let me just check whether I'm in danger of doing that. No, the new pin is bigger than the hole, so let's carry on and see if I can get it out. I might have to actually get the pillar drill onto it. Okay, so let's see how this goes and put the guard into place, because the last thing I want is metal shearing off. Or something like that happening. Now, I didn't anticipate the bit shearing, but I'm certainly glad I had the guard down. And so it's pushed the pin out a little more. So but that is still stuck. So, and eventually, with brute force and ignorance, I was using the handle of the chuck key, which is about 6mm in diameter, and managed to finally knock the sheared piece out. Oh, that took some doing. Right, I can now get back to fitting the new pin. So the whole idea is this castellated nut goes over that spindle and trying not to push that spindle in. Because I've got to try and align the two sets of holes. So see if I can hold it in from this other side. Just as I knock that across. And then move it around slightly. That, I think, is about it. So, new pin, hammer, not quite. How about that? No, it's not come through the other side. Well, it's in after a fashion. I had to attach the handle so I had more leverage to try and hutch that piece round. It's not a complete fit, but it is in and it is engaging with the other side of the castellated piece. So just got to realign the handle, because otherwise I won't be able to use it. There we go, and reattach the screw. There we go. So now I can get back onto, after a skinned knuckle or two, I can get back onto doing the mortices. So I finally got the mortices cut, and now just setting up for the tenons. Now I'm gradually working my way through some of the back catalogue that I have, and one of them that I'm going to re-edit is making this router table fence. But as part of the video I go to explain my use of this pair of cutters for cutting the tenons. So that one's for the width, that one's for the height, and then I can just cut in one pass. But this time I'm cutting, I've been using the 6mm chisel for the mortices. So first of all I want to make sure that that small one is 6mm cut width for the tenon. So first off, make sure it fits into place. And I need that off, don't I? There we go, that's got that one. Now then, what I want to do is just check what sort of initial size that is, and then I can make adjustments from there. So this is only going to be a rough test, and I can use any scrap wood for this, because the cut is just to find out how big everything will be. Now you might be able to see from here the maximum rotational speed of these cutters is 15,000 RPM. So what I've just got to do is adjust the speed of the router. Now for this particular router, setting 2 is 12,000, setting 3 is 16,000. So I've just gone for about 2 3/4 on the router setting, and let's see how this goes. Right, so that's the current cutter thickness, and that's coming out at 5.5 millimeters. So let me see. Do by way of a test how, now that is quite slack, so I need to adjust the thickness of these cutters. Now for this I've got a series of shims, and so just a case of holding the cutter securely, undoing the top nut to remove the top cutter, and then I need to add about 0.5 millimeter just to start with. So let's try. No, that one's the wrong internal diameter. That's about 0.5 millimeter, so let's try that. There we go. Make sure I don't lose any of those. So that is now 7 millimeters. A little too much, but where's the test mortise? That should be now far too tight. Yes. So I want somewhere in the middle. Let's try that one. 6.3. And that is a nice fit on that one. Yes, okay. So I've got the width correct. The next thing to do is just to make sure the positioning is correct. So everything will be from the face side, so that will go over there, and what I'm looking for is the depth of this top cut, this bottom cut here. The gap is 6.5 millimeters, that's fine, but what I want to make sure is where this gap comes up here. And that is 9 millimeters, so that whole thing needs to go down because the offset from the edge, just to double check it, is 6 millimeters, and just double check on this one. Yes, 6 millimeters. So everything needs to go down by about 3. Millimeters. So let me get the test mortise. So that is right on the edge. And check on that one. That's right on the edge. That's good. Okay. And what I've done is just cut down that piece of scrap wood to the correct thickness. And this is just to test everything is the correct size. So depth from the face is 6 millimeters. Width of the tenon is 6.5. So using the existing mortices, That's ideal. Right, so I've got everything set now for cutting the first pass of all of the mortices, and that will be next time round, and we'll see how that goes. Thanks ever so much for coming along with me, and I'll see you next time.